Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
I got a big water bottle. I got a big one.
Oh,
You
I
take a
got.
sip.
All right, hold on. I got a can of a frosty can of Diet Pepsi. Hold on.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like a commercial.
Yeah. Hydrated.
Let
Yeah.
me dry my brain out with chemicals. It's the
Delish.
opposite of hydration. No, I've been drinking water all day.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's evening time now, Dave. It's time for my treat.
Exactly. For your evening
My
sota.
evening treat.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a smoking jacket and a fez.
Beautiful. As we always do.
Fucking
at night.
Hugh Hefner sipping my Diet Pepsi.
Nectar. Nectar of the gods.
It's something.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
It's the
Hypecast.
show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I am your other co-host, David Bell.
And listen, look, and listen. We don't have a guest this week.
Right, because we were really busy and we just sort of half-assed it.
Yeah. With the holiday, I think both of us have been just like working nonstop for the past 6 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's bleak.
I just sort of lost track of time.
Yeah. It's fine.
But it's fine. We will, we'll have guests next time. But hey, it's, you know what? When we don't have guests, that means you still get to listen to me and Dave. And honestly, lucky you.
Yeah, lucky you.
Lucky you.
Look at you. Look at you right now. You have it
Yeah.
all.
You lucky ducks. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
It's luckier than a duck. You lucky horses.
You lucky horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You feel the power of that luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horse is a
Sure.
powerful animal, Dave.
It really is. I met a horse the other day, actually.
What was that like?
It was fine.
Was it like your DoorDash driver?
No,
Did your
it
DoorDash
was,
ride a horse to your house?
it was a controlled horse situation, so it wasn't as exciting. Like, it's not like meeting a wild horse.
You got to get those road
you know?
horses, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like a street horse.
Yeah.
I'd love a good street horse.
One of them corner horses.
Yeah. Where you just find a horse on the street.
Yeah.
Like a pigeon.
Yep. So
God, wouldn't it be great if cities just had horses like they have pigeons?
Yeah.
Where there's just loose horses everywhere?
A horse infestation.
That would be great. That's the world I want to live in.
We could make that world, Dave. We could make that happen.
I think we could.
We
I think-
start now.
So,
We just go and we just release all the horses. We become the new ALF.
yeah, you have to so you create a situation where you release so many horses that the city simply can't get them all.
Right.
And so at a certain point, they'll get some of them, but at a certain point, they're just like,
Yeah, we just
it'll
overwhelm.
take care of itself.
Yeah, with sheer numbers.
Yeah.
And then they'll introduce an alien predatory species into the environment to take care of the horses.
Right.
I don't know if that. I guess bears. The bears
yeah.
are their natural predators, right? That's what eat horses.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So now we're just gonna have cities full of bears and horses, and the world will be returned back to the bears and the horses. It's just as it was intended.
Nature. Life finds a way.
It will. Yeah. Our next president is gonna be a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm. A bearocracy.
A bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
This is going great.
it's,
This could be the whole episode for all I care.
It kind of is. It kind of is going great. I'm not against this,
No.
I think it's fine.
This is when you and I don't have to put on airs for a fancy guest.
We don't have to make a guest feel like we have our shit together,
Right, yeah. We don't have to try to convince a guest that we're not completely insane.
Yeah, exactly. Because we clearly do that when we have guests.
Oh, yeah.
you
Normally, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. We really cater to the guests. that have to introduce themselves.
Yeah, we really make it an easy, not at all confusing or intimidating situation for our guests.
Exactly. It's fine. Look, we're little teddy bears,
Honestly,
which will be great in this bearocracy we're facing. You know,
I for one welcome our bear overlords.
Yeah, I'd work for a bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're talking about like the hairy dudes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The bear culture stuff.
Yeah, the bear culture. Yeah, the nickname for a specific type of sexual partner. Yes, 100%.
Yes. Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah. It could also be the animals. Bears riding bears.
No. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Why not? Man, I would do well in that community.
I think you would, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. I always felt bad where I was like, I feel like I was built for that community. Unfortunately, I'm not a part of it. So,
yeah.
You know, what can I do? You know, that's life.
We just sit here making our humble hypecasts.
Yeah. All right.
Let's name some producers. Yeah. Hey.
I just did a like, so every now and then I go through our producer list and I redo it. I check to see who's at the tiers and whatnot.
You should probably do that once a month, right? Because that's when, anyway, you guys don't need to learn about that.
Yeah. No, what I'm getting to is if your name is missing, let me know, because I'm pretty sure I didn't accidentally lose anybody, but sometimes I do. So if you are a producer and you don't hear your name, DM us through the Patreon and just let me know.
Yeah.
That's all. Anywho, big thank you to Hombre. Thank you very much. Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Samuel Beckett's Donuts and Mortgage Emporium.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Snapper Carr Punches God in the Dick.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Thank you to At Nerd Numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus-driving vampire.
Thanks, you fanged bastard.
Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Boy, does he.
Yeah, and thank you to David Knife Boot Henson. Thank you very much.
All right, let me take over here. Thank you to Grumblebee. Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mom on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise.
Bwam. Bwam indeed.
Bwam.
Bwam.
Thank you to Deborah's awesome, Barbara's great, and Cancer can go to hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silicovolcanoconiosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Always.
Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chiz Lily Tits.
Chiz.
Thank you to These 7 Bs.
Thank you.
And thank you to Breezy Ruizy.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. We have trailers.
We do.
It's a weird trailer week.
Yeah. It's a little, I don't know. I like it. It's eclectic.
I'm not
this
against
week.
it.
Yeah.
But our first trailer is The Woman King, which I think is just called a queen, but sure.
I didn't even think about that until right now.
Yeah. But they're going for something.
I mean, yeah. It does get a specific idea in your mind.
Yeah. This
just because of the way language works.
Yeah, exactly. This is Viola Davis.
I know. Being a badass.
A warrior in Africa, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's based off a true story, or at least inspired by true events. I'm guessing it's like Braveheart, where it's like, we're playing it real fast and loose.
Yeah.
But that's okay because this looks awesome.
Yeah. It's. I never would have thought of Viola Davis for a role like this, but man, she's fucking awesome in this trailer.
It's so good. It's so perfect. It's like, I'm so fucking pumped to see her specifically because she's such a good actress and she's such a badass, but she never gets to play like a literal badass. Well, she plays like Amanda Walker and shit,
Yeah.
But like...
Yeah, she plays characters that have presence, but not a lot of action thus far in her career.
And she's incredible. Her in Fences, like, it's just... Like, I am so fucking pumped for this. It's the only thing that gives me a little pause
Mm-hmm.
is that it's the director of The Old Guard, which wasn't a particularly amazing film. But to be honest, I don't give a shit. This looks great.
Yeah.
And like the Old Guard is fine. It's not bad. Like the Old Guard is, I would argue, maybe the writing is a little. It
wasn't in my memory. It wasn't the direction so much in that movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. We haven't even described what it's about. You kind of have to just watch the trailer. It seems to be like just a group of women warriors in an epic where they're like taking down
some British people, I think.
Yeah, taking down the British. They choose some real British motherfuckers.
I know. There's the way the timing of the trailer worked out. It was like the words were flashing on screen. And it was like these, the elite warriors fighting an ultimate evil, and like right after ultimate evil, it cuts to the most willowy, evil-looking British guy.
Yeah, like, when he was being cast, he like looked at the pages and he's like, fine. I know what this is.
He looks like the seventh generation of like a cookie fortune heir or something, like the fanciest fancy boy.
Right. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like because he really is just like, I'll be exactly what you need me to be. I get it.
It was like
I know the history of England. It's fine. I'll do it.
He was like a stringy-haired little Lord Fauntleroy, basically. Yeah. If little Lord Fauntleroy got really into heroin, is what this guy looked like.
Pretty much. It's really funny how like the way Russians were villains in like the 80s.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a historical film like this, it's always the British because
that's history. I saw people on Twitter were pointing this out, and I'm not sure of the exact number, but it was like, because this past week was Independence Day in America, so people were pointing out, it's like, there's something like, I think 90 countries or something around the world that all celebrate an Independence Day that's specifically independence from the British.
Right, and so like your country fucked up if that's the case.
You're gonna be the bad guys in a lot of movies,
right? I'm sure they're doing fine now. I haven't checked the news, but I'm sure everything's fine over there. Also, John Boyega's totally in this.
I thought that was him. Okay, but they don't name him. They don't really put his name.
No, it's in IMDb.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to check an IMDb because I was like, did I get a flash of Boyega in this? So fuck yes.
Yeah.
It's just when does this come out? Is it coming out in theaters? I hope it's in theaters.
I believe it said exclusively in theaters. Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, I think most of these are theater movies that we're talking about. Which,
that's good.
If you've heard, I don't know if you've heard, Dave, but if you've heard, word on the street is that the movies, Dave,
right,
they're back.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. Yes. They've returned.
Cool. That's great. That's great news, Tom.
Like Batman and Superman before them.
Yeah. They're back. They're back, baby. And so I guess we can talk about this next fucking movie. Yeah. Which movies are back. A little conflicted about
movies
this one. Amsterdam.
Back? Yeah, this is the
movies are back.
Back.
So David O. Russell, like, he's a famous asshole, and yet nobody will stop working with him.
He sort of almost transcends asshole, right? Like asshole is almost too gentle a word for the reputation David O. Russell has cultivated over the past 20 years.
But apparently it's not enough for people to not
I guess
work with
because
him.
He keeps getting fucking murderer's row of casts in these movies. Yeah. And this Amsterdam is a period piece murder mystery starring just 15 of the most delightful motherfuckers you can think of.
Margot Robbie, Anya Taylor-Joy, Christian Bale, which no surprise there.
Yeah.
One Robert De Niro.
Yes.
Timothy Oliphant. A Zoe Saldana. A Remy Malik. A Michael Shannon.
Fucking Michael Shannon.
Yep. A Mike Myers.
Yeah.
As in Austin fucking Powers.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Chris Rock. And that's there's fucking God.
Alessandro Nivola is in it as well. He's the the sensei
I
from
see his name, yeah.
what the fuck is the name of that movie? Art of Self-Defense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so
Pollux
it's
Troy.
hard. Yeah, it's hard not to. It's really hard not to watch his films because he's not a great. I don't find him a good writer for starters.
I have not. Okay, I think I've only seen 2 of his movies because I do not like them. Like I've seen Three Kings and I've seen I Heart Huckabees.
Okay, so where I stand is I don't dislike his films. I've enjoyed them. They're not worth the level of asshole.
So that's the other thing. Like I watched Three Kings and I just couldn't get into it, even though it blew up when it came out, and David O. Russell became the next big thing. And then I watched I Heart Huckabees, which was like an early sort of kind of indie darling type film, like early aughts, and so like all of my friends were super into it, but I still couldn't get into it. And then around that time, of course, that's I Heart Huckabees, I believe, is the famous Lily Tomlin meltdown, right, when he's screaming at her. Yeah,
where he's a complete prick. Also, Three Kings, George Clooney hit him.
Yeah, but that didn't come out. That didn't come out till later.
Yeah.
So like,
here's his.
So like, anyway, I just real quick finishing the thought. This is around the time that his reputation sort of became known, and so like from that point on, it's like, well, I haven't really liked the movies I've watched. This guy sounds like a piece of shit, so I just haven't watched any of his movies since then.
That's fair. Here's his secret, and I think it's not exclusively what makes people attracted to his movies. It's just a big part of it. And I also think Wes Anderson uses the secret, which is, again, not to say those two are similar directors in any way.
Yeah.
But their secret is they cast actors who do roles that are against type, right?
Yep.
That's exclusively what makes them appealing. Mm-hmm. Is you take Christian Bale and you say, you're going to do a whole character. You take Chris Rock, Mike Myers, and people are like, holy shit, they're in this? Like, what the fuck's Mike Myers doing in this? And I think Wes Anderson does the same thing, which is, and in both cases, personally, both Wes Anderson and David O. Russell, I am not enamored by. I've enjoyed movies they'd made. But, like, for example, if Wes Anderson was an asshole, I would feel the same way, where I'd be like, fuck him. I also haven't seen David O. Russell's recent films for that reason, too. But, like, it's still this... what I'm getting at is that it's like whether or not you like love the director or not, there's this level of like, oh shit, I want to see that performance.
Yeah,
like it's always the fact their strength is the fact that they take these actors, they let them go wild, and you can't help but to want to watch that.
Yeah, particularly in this trailer, Christian Bale is fucking over the top in this trailer.
He's having so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
And so it's tough, like I've met people who like love David O. Russell films, and I definitely don't understand that because I just don't think they're that deep or that, significant, but I see the appeal. I see the trick there.
Yeah.
And it works. It makes me want, like, it's fucking Michael Shannon's in here. It's just I want to see that.
It's a murder mystery, which is, I can't resist that shit. A murder mystery with an ensemble cast like this, and they're all being silly. You got Christian Bale being zany as shit.
Yeah. Oh, also John David Washington. John David Washington's in this. Yeah. So it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. And it's hard, like, you hear rumors of directors being dicks, but then you see all these actors in it, and most people are going to be like, I guess he's fine. Everybody wants to be in his films. I think maybe the cast is probably part of it too, because like once he starts, because he has people that are just going to be in his movies regardless, like Robert De Niro or like Christian Bale, because I assume they're either friends or they just had a good working relationship. So like when you're starting a movie like this, you're like, hey, he's putting together an ensemble cast for a murder mystery. He's already got Christian Bale and Robert De Niro, like big stars already attached. So people are going to start. It's sort of like I think Wes Anderson has done the similar thing in the past, where it's like he brings people on initially, and then those people's involvement is part of what attracts the rest of this killer cast to the to the movie. He also loves his ensembles, specifically small groups of people. Three Kings, American Hustle. It's like it's the same idea of like this is like three people doing a thing together, going on an adventure. So yeah, I can see this being very attractive, very popular, you know, like this is probably going to do very well. This, you might get some nominations out of this or something.
Yeah, they love to throw nominations at his movies.
Yeah, they do.
For some reason.
Even though he's a fucking asshole. Yeah. And like maybe he's since calmed down, but
not that I've heard, man.
Exactly. And it kind of makes the situation where when they're showing this line of actors, I'm like disappointed. I'm like, "Oh, you too? You?" Because it speaks to me like the reason George Clooney punched him is because he tore into an extra who didn't deserve it. And George Clooney was like, fuck you.
He was physically assaulting the extra too. Like the story's making the round. Like he had pushed the guy down and was kicking him. And then Clooney takes him aside and is like, you need to calm down. And then it escalates and then, yeah.
Yeah. And so like what that says to me is that he's probably also very nice to these A-list actors, but that doesn't mean he's nice to the people under them. And so it creates a situation where it's like,
he certainly wasn't nice to Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin, yeah. But I would argue that Lily Tomlin wasn't really an A-lister at the time.
She's Lily Tomlin,
she's Lily Tomlin, but I don't think he respected her. Right? Obviously. That's why he's yelling at her.
In that clip,
and so I guess what I'm saying is that I bet he wouldn't talk to Dustin Hoffman that same way. And maybe that's a little sexism in there too. I don't know. I'm making a lot of guesses here.
I mean,
what I'm mainly saying here is that it kind of, to me, makes all these actors a little culpable, because if he is still abusive on set, even if he's not abusive to these actors, it's like, well, you're still standing there and being in this movie.
Yeah,
you know?
and maybe
we should all be like George Clooney is my point.
Yeah.
Like George Clooney is the only motherfucker who is like, you know what? No, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's not just the punch. It's like, it's the Ed Harris thing with Jim Cameron. It's like, not only am I punching you in the face, but like I am publicly stating I'm never working with you again.
Yeah. And I'm doing it not just for myself, but for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must be stopped, James Cameron, before you kill again. Or maybe for a first time. We don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, I don't know. That's all to say, this movie does look like a lot of fun.
It does. I want to see it.
Yeah, but at what a cost? And like, generally speaking, I thought The Fighter I enjoyed. I enjoyed American Hustle, but again, like, enjoy.
Oh, I did see The Fighter. I forgot that was him.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, he can make a good movie, but he's a fucking prick,
fine,
so I don't know.
Fighter was fine. It had two. The Fighter has two really good performances in it.
Yeah, that's his secret. Is I don't think his writing is that great. I don't think his directing is good, but it's not like, you know, it's like, again, it's none of it's worth him being a dick.
No.
But what it is that whatever he's doing to get these performances from actors, like that's the thing that draws, at least that makes it so that like I like, it's hard to not watch these, because it's like, fuck, he always gets actors to do these great performances, and I'm sure this is no different.
Yeah, it looks like a blast. It really does.
I can't imagine, considering the reputation of Christian Bale, and then like, I don't know, the presence of Timothy Olyphant and Michael Shannon. I would not want to be a PA on this film.
Oh my god!
What a nightmare to be a PA on this film. It would be like working in a castle in fucking in
Romania.
In Game of Thrones.
Oh, in Game of Thrones. It'd be like working at fucking House Lannister. Yeah,
you'd just be like constantly like having to just stay in the shadows, keep very quiet, terrified the whole time. It'd be like in The Boys, like dealing with Homelander.
Every time where somebody gets called into a room with Homelander.
Yeah, exactly. That's every PA working on this movie. Jesus Christ. What a nightmare.
Yeah. Now, to be clear, I've not heard anything about Michael Shannon, and nothing about Timothy Olyphant other than him being a dick to Kevin Smith.
Yeah, which is very funny. Very, very funny. And like, yeah, he was definitely a dick to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
But like it's just more of those guys have such intense fucking energy.
Yeah.
Just
Just super
like,
intense.
Oh fuck.
Performers.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this next thing, which I'm now learning is a TV series. Which, yeah, that's interesting. This is called Keep Breathing, although on IMDb it's credited just as Breathe. And I don't know. Pick one. Pick one. You can't have both.
Yes, I mean sometimes I don't know. You know how this works.
Yeah, I know. I think Keep Breathing is better, to be honest. Breathe is
I do
like
too.
I
Breathe
just
is
think
a little too
Prodigy.
generic. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a woman who is lost in the wilderness.
Yeah,
And
a
it's
plane
like a
crash,
survival.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so to be honest, the fact that this is a series makes me less interested in it because I'm all for a survival tale, right? Like The Edge and The Revenant and all that good stuff. A series that just feels like, oh no, she's never gonna get out of that fucking woods.
Yeah, unless it's a
It's gonna
limited
take so long.
series.
Yeah. And it looks like she's. It seems like it's a series of flashbacks, right?
Right. It's like she's kind of going through her life as she's trying to survive in this wilderness, which is it's reminding me of something similar that I can't quite pull right now, but I do like that device of how it's like, okay, let me think back on this memory, and that's going to inform what I'm doing right now in these woods to stay alive.
Right. It's not particularly like I've seen it before done, but like this just I don't know. It looks compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Netflix show.
Yeah, you're right. I am slightly less interested now that knowing that it's a show. That is a little surprising. But
it does say mini series.
Okay.
So it's 5 episodes, which that kind of brings me back on board. To be
that's
honest,
not too bad. Yeah, that's not too long.
Yeah, a short mini series. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I haven't the people behind it. It's the writer of The Lovebirds, which is weird.
Oh,
Yeah, and then the other the story the story is by the other writers did stuff like I don't know. They worked on just various TV. Nothing really that pops out for me. So
I don't recognize any of the actors either. So this is
one
all...
of them worked on Snowpiercer. A couple episodes, the Orville one episode. So it's like, okay, yeah,
sure.
They're just people who like kind of,
sometimes
have
it's
some
people
TV experience.
just making things.
Yeah, this is one where it's like, I might have to be told this is really good to watch it, but it does look compelling. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other things to say about this?
I like, I like having a nice quiet drama every now and then.
I do too.
This looks like it could fit that bill for myself.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about this next trailer.
I don't know what is going on in this trailer.
I almost did this as more hype, but it actually doesn't have that good reviews. It sounds like it's. So this is The Last Journey of Paul W.R. And on IMDb, it's just The Last Journey. It says it came out in 2020, but it looks like it's actually releasing August 2022. So I think it's been going around festivals,
Yeah.
This looks like an accomplishment in indie visual effects.
Yes. It's a sci-fi movie that it's kind of got a Fallout / Outer Worlds vibe to it.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot of like neon and kind of a little post-apocalyptic, but not quite.
Right.
It's just more like in a broken down stage where like there's still civilization, but like, and it looks really cool, but like
I don't know if that means it'll be good.
Yeah, there's like some like Paul W.R. is this like from what I've gathered from the trailer is like some sort of famous astronaut who's supposed to save the planet from something, but he disappeared, and then this guy crashes down and meets this little girl, and this little girl is convinced he's Paul W.R. and they're on like a road trip or something. It's sort of hard to piece together what the hell this movie's about, but it sure looks cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it really does.
It looks, it's like it's hard to describe. It's got some cyberpunky stuff in it.
Yes, that's a better analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, but Fallout is good because it's very desert.
Mhm.
It's not. It's from a country. It's got The Professional in it, so
Yeah, so it made me think French, but I don't know.
yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It looks worth seeing because
Yeah,
it just looks fucking really creative and beautiful. It's just, Lord knows, like I said, it wasn't getting the highest reviews, and it seemed like it was people saying like this is all visuals and not much else.
Sometimes
it's
it's
got
fine. Film is a visual medium.
yeah. I mean, it's got a 5.3 on IMDb with like 800 reviews. It's Rotten Tomatoes isn't that great. That's what I mean. Is like it sounds like it's maybe unsatisfying in some way, which still makes me want to see it.
Yeah, I
because
still want to watch it.
Still looks really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
This is one where people should definitely check out the trailer.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's just
honestly, you should look up
big,
a few of the things we've been talking about today.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah.
There's a big red planet in the sky that's like slowly approaching Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the idea. Yeah,
that must be the danger. Yeah,
it's supposed to go out and save everybody from it, and then they disappear.
Yeah,
and so yeah, it's about fate of the Earth, etc. And yeah, like some kid, and the CGI isn't perfect, but it's very well done.
It's real stylized too, so it doesn't. The fact that it's not like obviously they didn't have a huge budget to do it, kind of works in its favor for the look that they're going for.
It's like rundown cyberpunk, so it's like there's flying cars, but they're crappy.
Yeah, they gotta suck.
So, yeah. And so I love that. I do very much love that look that they're creating here, where it's like retro futurist, like
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. It's tough. It's tough to pin down. People check this one out.
Yeah.
Man, we're blowing through these.
Peepers on it. Yeah, man, listen, sometimes we're just down to business.
Yeah. Well, also, like a lot of these, I don't know. They just, they all look pretty awesome. And so, like, I'm not like, there's nothing like, well, I guess besides Amsterdam, there's nothing like that particularly pisses me off yet. Let's see if this keeps going with Hypochondriac.
Find out what's next.
Yeah. Hypochondriac is, as you can see, it's the one where I'm like, oh, this has 1,000 views. I'm going to put it on here.
Yeah.
I did because it kind of looks compelling. It
does. Yeah. Yeah.
It's about a guy who, I believe, like starts feeling like his body is haunted, or his body is falling apart while being haunted by what I'm reading here is a manifestation of his childhood trauma, which is like
he's
a very creepy looking person in like a wolf outfit.
Yeah, he's a gay man, and he's having. I think it starts with him having like flashbacks of the time when his mother is disturbed and she tried to kill him when he was a child.
Right.
So there's an aspect of he's like, am I getting what my mother had? Because he's starting to see this weird shit.
Right. A little Hereditary in there, and the trailer at least seems to imply that him being gay is significant. That
right.
is
Yeah. The trailer calls it a queer horror movie, so I assume it's not gonna. I don't know. I assume it's part of the idea of like it's part of it. Yeah.
How why he feels like like why his mom punished him, or why he feels like he's I don't know. I probably shouldn't speculate just because it's just a trailer, but there's probably some allegory in there that has to do with that. Mm-hmm. It looks very low budget, but
but not in a bad way.
No, it looks like they're making it work for them.
Yeah.
That was part of why I wanted to include it, because I was like, man, this looks like it actually could have some really good scares in it.
The way they do the effects around like the hallucinations he's have this cool like grainy look to it. Like they really lean into the idea of like, CG always looks bad the more you light it.
Right.
So so they're really leaning on that idea, sort of, and it's working in their favor, at least in this trailer. So
Yeah.
it just makes
And
it
then the
look
fact that-
creepier and harder to make out, you know?
Right. The fact that the monster is supposed to kind of look like it's in a costume helps. Because it's like the monster looks very like Donnie Darko, like
Yeah.
Rabbit. And I think it's part of the point, which is it's a childhood fear. So it's like kind of a silly look for the monster, but it's definitely sinister looking at the same time. And I don't know, that's kind of cool. It gives me almost like Babadook vibes, where like the Babadook is a creature that if seen in light, you would laugh at. You'd be like, oh, that's a guy going to like a goth club.
But all the abstract you see of it in the movie is really creepy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm getting the same vibes there.
Yeah, yeah.
So like this could really be like one of those films that sneaks up on you, you know?
Like the Babadook, like it looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch some Babadook.
Babadook's pretty chill, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a good Babadooking.
Yeah, I gotta get Babadooked
myself. Yeah. Gotta do the Duke.
Gotta get Babadook.
Oh, that's stupid. Do the Duke. Okay.
So yeah,
I get once again.
Hypochondriac. Yeah.
It's just all good. It's all fucking. It's been smooth sailing, you guys. This next one is called Emily the Criminal, which this has been on my radar for like a year. I feel like
Really?
yeah, it just kept popping up when I do the like movies that deserve more hype stuff. This would always pop up, and it doesn't look like a bad movie, but it didn't like blow me away. The premise. This is Aubrey Plaza, which that is cool because it's her doing like a serious
It's like a crime
role.
drama. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's doing like a credit card scam.
So what she is, she's working for this guy, and basically her job is to go take stolen credit cards and buy them. She's like the dummy shopper, basically.
Right.
And buy stuff with the credit cards, I mean.
Right. I forget what the actual twist is in the trailer.
She like something goes bad where she's sort of like it looks like she gets robbed, maybe. So she comes back to her like partner and it's like, fuck this, we got to step up our game. So they're deciding to get like more intense with their crime operation. That's what I gleaned from the trailer.
Right. So it really is just like a crime drama.
It's a crime drama.
It's got what's his name from the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I don't know.
Army of the Dead. He was in Luke Cage. He was a big part of Luke Cage. Theo Rossi, that's his name. He's really that guy for me, where I keep seeing his face and he has a very distinct face. He's in a lot of things.
Gotcha.
Like you'd know his face, for sure. So I don't know. Good for him.
Yeah. Way to go.
I always enjoy when he's in a movie. He always plays kind of an asshole, kind of like a villainous, because he's got jerk face. He definitely has jerk face.
Yeah, sometimes you have prick face. What are you gonna do about it? You make it work
and I
for
think
you.
he's the villain in this too, I believe. Yeah, this is like such a weird movie to exist because it's not like Aubrey Plaza doing like Monster or something like that, where it's like, oh my god, it's not Adam Sandler and Punch Drunk Love. It's Aubrey Plaza just being like, yeah, I can act in a thriller. It's like it's like such a weird, because she also did Chucky, remember?
She did, yeah, the new Child's Play.
Yeah, and like she's good in that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just weird because it almost feels like it's not using her talents. Like she's doing these roles that are very like muted, and like again, good. She's doing a good job, but it doesn't feel like she's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And she's can do a lot of outrageous performances, and so it's interesting to watch her do these ones that are like pretty calm and like just like, yeah, I feel like this could have been anybody playing this.
I feel like she has like a similar sort of career to like Adam Scott, because
Adam Scott does that too.
Adam Scott blew up with comedic roles, but I don't think he's like a primarily comedic actor, and I feel like that's the same thing for Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
And also, they were both on fucking Parks and Rec.
Right. It's the Parks and Rec journey. It's just very strange. It's like it's it's strange in how mundane this film is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It seems like a pretty, kind of a boilerplate crime thriller, but,
Yeah. When she should be making appearances in like What We Do in the Shadows. Like that would be.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Aubrey Plaza and What We Do in the Shadows would be.
I mean,
perfect.
There's time.
Of course.
The new season is starting soon.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't look bad. It's just
no, not at all. It just looks like
it's just like what a weird thing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a movie. Like I don't know. I'm trying to. I was trying to pull like a. I was gonna say copycat, but copycat's not quite what I'm pulling.
It's an indie film, and it's not its fault. But like, have you noticed this? Is I stray away from like indie crime films usually that are this gritty because they all kind of look like those Bruce Willis films that he puts out.
Yeah,
like, and it's not their fault because it's just low budget crime films.
Yeah,
but there's something about a low budget crime film that feels like unsatisfying, which is again weird because I'm sure many of them are very good. It's more of just their trailers. They always feel a little cheap. And they always feel like a little underwhelming because it's ultimately like, oh yeah, it's just crime drama. If there's no like big twist to the crime drama, then they kind of feel like a dime a dozen. It's hard to describe. And again, that doesn't mean they're bad. Den of Thieves is, I think, technically would count, right?
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
And that movie rocks. Yeah. That's what I mean is like, I think what it is that most crime dramas, they can't in the trailer really give away what makes them unique.
Right.
Like if there's something unique in them, it's usually in the story, like remember the one where what was the one with Jared Leto getting buried?
Oh, the Little Things? Yeah,
which I don't remember if that was that good, but it's like movies like that. They always have these twists and turns, and that's sort of the point. And so they have to give you the most basic plot summary for the trailers. And they always feel like this might spin out of control in a really interesting way, It might be a really interesting like journey that this character goes on, or something really fucked up happens and a twist, but they can't tell us that because they don't want to. So there's just no way of knowing. So it's like, yeah, it's called Emily the Criminal. Like, so that's so generic.
Yeah.
That's like a gritty kids character.
It's like the beginning of like a kids young adult series.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like it's really easy, I think, for these films to sort of like blend in with the background and get lost.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with that, and I'm done talking about it. So let's move on.
All right. Well, we have our final trailer, which of course is Clerks 3.
Yeah.
This is Kevin Smith's Clerks 3. In the trailer, it's the plot is Randall has some sort of heart attack.
Randall has a heart attack, it appears, yeah.
Yeah, or something happens to him. And he realizes he's wasted his life, and he decides I assume it's a heart attack considering who made this movie.
Yeah.
And he decides to make a movie about working at the Quick Stop. So he's just making Clerks.
Yeah.
It's folding in on itself.
Yep, it is the simulation is collapsing.
Yeah. To the point that there's a scene where he's gonna kill Dante.
Yeah.
And he's like, to prevent sequels or whatever, which is a real thing that Kevin Smith did when making the first Clerks. There's a famous-ish cut ending. Yeah, he's so meta.
Yeah.
He's I would argue he's like with this Jay and Silent Bob reboot, like he gets overly meta.
It's too meta. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making movies about, like we've talked about it before, but he's starting to make movies where you have to be a fan of him personally, not his films. Right.
And the thing is that like, so I'm excited for this, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. I'm going to watch it.
We have a whole podcast about Kevin Smith. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to laugh at the stupid jokes in it. This is a movie made for me. But what I guess concerns me, is that the meta stuff used to just be in the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Clerks, like Clerks 2, that's not a meta film.
No, that is like a movie that's like about stuff.
Yeah, and so is Clerks. So to bring the meta stuff into the Clerks stuff kind of like concerns me, because then it feels like his meta humor is overwhelming his like sensibilities,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's my worry. But also this is just a trailer. So maybe this is just a detail of it, and it could still like mean something about hitting a certain age, you know?
Yeah, there's a bit of that in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot as well, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I figure, I don't know. I'm going to watch it. Obviously, I'm going to probably enjoy myself.
What do you think he has on Ben Affleck?
I think they're just friends, right?
Yeah, it might be that. Yeah, you're right. I love that Ben Affleck is so down for this stuff every time.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, it's harder to get...
I'm sure Kevin Smith loves it, too.
Yeah, it's harder to get Jeff Anderson on
right,
board than it is Ben Affleck.
It's more difficult for him to get Jeff Anderson to come back for movies than Ben Affleck.
For what I could tell about Ben Affleck, he has never not been the guy who will put his balls on your face while you're sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is just who he is.
He's got massive Boston energy.
Right. And so he just loves Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I think they're buddies. Also, like, you know, he owes his career to Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Which is always weird. So yeah, it's weird because the other thing that happens with Kevin Smith, which I don't think is a bad thing, it's another thing that's like kind of overwhelming. It goes into like, if you're not a fan, is that every new movie he makes, he amasses more people who love to work with him because he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And it seems like he can't not include them in every next film. He's like that the game where you fucking Katamari. He's just rolling them up and the ball's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So every new film, the cast just balloons more and more.
Yep.
Yeah, and so there's going to be like 50 people he has to include in this.
Yeah.
It's just funny. And at the end of the day, it's like he's really living the dream.
Yeah. I'm not mad at him at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's just, Jay and Silent Bob reboot is barely a movie.
Yeah. Well,
So.
guys, we have a whole podcast on Kevin Smith. You can go listen to it.
Yeah.
And we're both fans. It's definitely in his later years, there's a certain amount of like nihilism where it feels like he's made all the movies he wants to make. And now he's just making movies for fun. And they get a return. That's the beauty of it, is he makes them for a certain budget. He gets a return. So like he is living the dream. Like it's hard to be mad at that, where it's like, man, you are just making movies with your friends and having a blast. And I enjoy watching them. Are they perfect movies? No. But it doesn't seem like he's concerned about that anymore.
Mm-mm.
And then he'll make a movie that's like Red State where you're like, shit. Like, that's, that's, again, that podcast hasn't come out yet. So we're doing one on Tusk soon.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We just saw Tusk for the first time, Dave and I.
We did. We sure did. That was an experience.
Sure was.
Yeah.
But this comes out this year, right?
Yeah. They're blasting this out.
Nice.
Because again, it's kind of like it's Clerks. It takes place probably in one, maybe 2 or 3 locations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just people saying stuff. So it's like they probably shot this in like a month.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. If it took longer than that, I'd be amazed.
Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know. It's a delight. If you're into Kevin Smith, then it's a delight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to see these old sons of bitches again.
I know, it really is. It was nice in Clerks too. I enjoyed seeing Clerks too.
Yeah.
Such stupid humor, and I love it. And I'm sure this will be filled with bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I like so that like I don't need to defend myself here.
No, you
but
don't.
like,
absolutely not.
It's the Cheech and Chong stuff. It's the ending when Chiz and Bob are smoking a big joint and he says something like, "This could use more weed."
Yeah.
It's the dumbest joke in the world, and it's still got a laugh out of me. And it's like, am I proud of that? No. But,
Listen, man. Sometimes stuff is funny. What do you want?
Sometimes, it's kind of the Broken Lizard thing, where it's like the jokes, they're just so simple and dumb,
right?
And I love them.
The one the Broken Lizard one that floors me every fucking time is move that gigantic cotton candy. It's such a stupid line.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Anyway,
sometimes it just gets me.
Sometimes dumb stuff is dumb simple stuff is funny. I don't know. What do you want?
I don't know.
Clerks 3. Old
Clerks
guys.
3.
They are looking old. Mighty old, yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Whew. Clerks was a long time ago.
It was. Yeah, they didn't have color film back then, Tom.
That's right. Yeah, it hadn't been invented
why it's
yet.
Black and white. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's damn near 30 years ago.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that thought.
I don't like it. Don't like it.
Not a fan. All right. Well, we're going to move on to news stories, but first, we have more producers to thank, including Davey Francis 9. Davey Goes to Hell.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Oh Great, It's That Guy.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet. Thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you to Definitely Not Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
I sure do.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you so much.
Steven. Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg.
Thank you so much. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Asking 7.
Thank you.
Thank you to Happy Ed 209.
And how?
Thank you to Amanda Shevitz Maltov says, economic solidarity is the path to paradise, comrades.
Yes.
Thank you to Tiger George Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Cody Johnston's Time Machine Noise.
Yes.
Thank you to Pete Vorpagel.
Absolutely.
Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book. Pre-orders are super important.
It's true.
It is true. That guy's going to have to, or this person's going to have to change their name pretty soon.
Knowing Jason, maybe not.
I think the book is coming. Oh, right. He's going to have one right after that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's going to be a Stranger Things spinoff and stage play. Not sure about the old stage play, but why not? They're saying the spinoff is going to be, as they put, 1,000% different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, all right, here's my proposal.
Yeah.
Is a completely different group of people.
Well, yeah.
Nobody, right? Nobody, and the only thing related will be the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
Make the show in the Upside Down.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, they've talked about a couple other projects that they're doing. It's basically the Duffer Brothers sort of founded their own production studio this week called Upside Down Pictures, and these are the slate of projects that they are starting with.
Which is cool. I would love to see, and I know they will, but I would love to see them do something that isn't Stranger Things.
They are. The two other things that are on their slate are a Netflix series adaptation of the Stephen King, Peter Straub book, The Talisman.
Ooh, yeah. Someone's reading it in Stranger Things.
Yeah, Lucas is reading it, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I almost spoiled something.
Yeah, but you didn't.
But I didn't. And the other one is a series, I believe also for Netflix, a series adaptation of Death Note. So,
that's cool too.
Yeah.
I that's cool. I want to see them do another original thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That is right up their alley. Mm-hmm. I think the Duffer Brothers,
I do want to see them.
Netflix will do literally anything they want,
of
right?
Of course,
at this point.
They'll give them. That's what this is. is Netflix letting them do whatever they want? I do want to see the Duffer Brothers actually adapt a Stephen King story, since it's obvious they pay so much homage to Stephen King stories in Stranger Things that it would be cool to see them.
And
do a Stephen King story.
The 80s adaptations. Mm-hmm. They're into, so if they adapt, they're going to make it look like a fucking old-timey adaptation.
Yeah.
It's weird, is they can right now do no wrong for me. I was having a chat about Stranger Things with a couple people with Cody and stuff. And we were just, I'm not going to spoil anything, but we were just slowly tearing the plot apart. Like there was so many like plot holes or
it doesn't make
like
sense.
spinning wheels.
Yeah.
And even doing that at the end of the conversation, I was just like, yeah, I liked it. Like that's kind of how it is for me with Stranger Things,
riveted.
which is like, which is I'm one of those fans where it's like kind of the same way people are where you point out like something wrong with Obi-Wan and people are like, I liked it. And it's like, you can't really argue with that. And so I feel the same way where I'm like, I just like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like all the characters. I like the vibe.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I like it.
No.
There's a lot of issues in the plot.
Sure.
But I like it. It's fine.
And honestly, like I get a little exhausted. Like unless the plot holes and
it's
stuff
not
like
even plot holes. It's more of like there's some storytelling stuff in there that's like it's clear they're stretching for time. You know?
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah, which is weird because the episodes are also like 2 hours long.
That finale is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
it's like okay, guys. But also at the same time, I wanted to see all of it. Like every single scene in that finale, I was like, okay, I see why you couldn't cut this any shorter.
I still got sad when it was over.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I have no more Stranger Things to watch. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, stories aren't puzzles. They're not like recitations of reality. So it's like, yeah, sometimes things aren't going to add up because that's not the point. It's not a chronicle. It's a story. So I can get a little exhausted by picking apart movies like that if we're really nitpicking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It depends. For me, it always depends, which is like if I like something, I'm not going to notice at the time, and then afterwards I'll be like, oh yeah, that was stupid.
There's a lot of wacky horse shit in like Jurassic Park, for instance.
Yeah,
and it's do not care.
Don't care
because it doesn't matter.
Right. But if something starts getting boring or bad, that's when I start.
That's when you start noticing it. Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I agree. Where it's like same with Back to the Future or anything I grew up loving. It's like most of it doesn't make sense. Terminator 2, the Terminator 1, they make these rules, and then Terminator 2, they break the rules.
Immediately break them.
Like, yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the ends justify the means. Basically,
the end result is the greatest action movie ever made.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Who cares?
Yeah. With Stranger Things, though, the things that I did notice, it's like, again, not plot holes, but it's like structurally they did some shit.
Yeah.
Like,
there's. I think I know what you're talking about. It's just, but please go ahead.
What it comes down to with Stranger Things is it felt like this season, the biggest critique I've seen I feel is valid is that they spent 4 seasons just gaining more and more characters.
There are so many characters.
And this season, it felt like they didn't know what to do with half of them.
Yes.
And so they just give them like the entire, again, not spoiling, but basically the entire threads that aren't the L thread and the and like back at Hawkins, everything else they have to like shoehorn in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike and the other one, like they don't
Jonathan.
need to be in there. Yeah. Not like there's so many characters where it's like you could have pulled this completely out, but it doesn't really matter because I'm enjoying it. So
yeah, and I want to see what all these characters are doing.
Yeah, and I want to see the spinoff. I'd love to see the stage play, although that sounds boring as shit. But I'll see it.
I don't know how you. Well, I don't know. You'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I would say a lot of Stranger Things to me is like the mood of the way they shoot it, and so that's why it's like stage play, huh? I mean, all right. Seems weird, but I wouldn't say no.
I don't know.
To it.
I'm not going to write it off. You never know.
No,
you never know. Sometimes shit works out really well when it's adapted for the stage.
Yeah, it's and I do think this world can be mined a little longer in terms of spin-offs and stuff, but I do think like in general, like as much as I enjoy Stranger Things, like they originally wanted to only do 4 seasons.
Right.
And I think it was originally supposed to be a limited thing. And so like I feel like going the other way with it might not be the best idea, but again, for me I'm like, fuck it. Like more. I like more.
Yeah.
For this right now. I'm not sick of it yet. So
And it's only got one more season after this, so.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of things that we're going to get more of, James Cameron's been doing the Avatar interviews.
I love it. I love it. He'll be quiet for 10 years, and then he comes out of his undersea cave to just fucking obliterate people in interviews, be a cantankerous asshole, and disappear back into the ocean.
Yeah. So he criticized everybody for like not remembering the names of the characters, and it's like what happened there?
That was like an example of like him saying how like critiques he's hearing about is like he was responding to the critique of like, why are we doing 5 Avatar movies? Nobody remembers Avatar, and the common rhetorical device people will employ when they're making this point is name the characters in Avatar. So that's what he was referring to. He was just talking about how like he's sick of hearing that critique. It's like, look, obviously this was the biggest movie of all time. He's just like, just basically he's like, shut the fuck up and watch the movie, and then talk shit is basically what he's saying.
Right.
He's also talking about like people complaining about the length, and he's just like, just get up and go to the bathroom. Like you'll binge 5 hours of a TV show. We're just talking about how Stranger Things season finale, 1 episode was 2.5 hours long.
Right.
So he's like, just get up and go to the bathroom. It's fine. Like,
It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's because I think the thing he's missing is, at least with me, like if it was a conversation directed at me personally, the thing he's missing for me is like, I don't like Avatar enough. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. It's like,
I don't think it's like, I thought it was kind of boring. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah. But I'm not like,
please don't hurt me.
Yeah. I'm not sharing these because I like agree with him necessarily. I just think it's funny that he's just coming out. He won't give interviews for like years because he's, obsessed with whatever project he's working on, and then he'll come out with just fucking guns a-blazing like this.
Right. And and I'm kind of like, all right, I guess I'll see it because he's yelling at me.
Sure.
And
I'm not gonna see the new Avatar.
I'm not gonna see it. That's the thing. It's just very funny.
Yeah.
His rage. And now he's saying that he may not direct the final films, which is very funny to me because it's like, fucking James, you led us all here. You're making us watch Avatar.
You've been dragging us towards this fucking event horizon for like 13 years now.
Right, and then in the end of the day, he's like, I don't know.
I'll do, because they've done 2 and 3, and he's talking about he might not direct 4 and 5. Right.
It feels like it's like a friend being like, oh my God, we got to hang out on this day. We got to hang out, and like bothering you. And then you get to the day and they're like, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah,
it's like,
really
motherfucker, you're the one who facilitated this.
Yeah. But I kind of get it because, as I just said, he's been working on these sequels for like the past 13 years.
Yeah. I get it too.
They're finally coming out. They filmed 2 and 3 back to back, I believe. So he's directed those. But like, he probably wants to do something else. So
right. I don't know,
also,
man.
we might not get these. Might not do well, so we might not get 4 and 5.
Right. It's just very funny. Like, it feels like this might end with a standoff between James Cameron and the cops.
Yeah, but it's
like,
I don't see any
like
cameras.
He's been like obsessing over Avatar.
Yeah,
and
also
the world is not giving anything back to him. Like,
right,
nobody wants it. And
he's the thing is, over it. The thing is the only reason like anyone I've seen who is hyped about these new movies, and honestly, like, kind of hyped about the original movies too, but like the only reason people care about Avatar is because of James Cameron. It's because he's the writer director. Like,
if anybody else was making these, it would
nope.
No interest.
Do not care. Like, if I just said minutes ago, I'm not going to see the new Avatar. If it wasn't written and directed by James Cameron, I would not see it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, I don't care. I'm all set.
Here's what I think. So here's what weirds me out about Avatar is that James Cameron, it feels like he's on tilt. James Cameron made Titanic. He made Aliens. He made Terminator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love James Cameron to be like, you know what? I'm making another Aliens. You know, like I would fuck it. I'd be like, if he was like, I'm making another Terminator, I'd be like, absolutely, man.
Hell yeah.
But
yeah.
what in his career, something weird happened because he made so many amazing films, and then he made Avatar, and it was the biggest film ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people largely didn't care about it either. We saw it because it was James Cameron, and because of the hype around it,
and it was like a
because of the
technological
technology.
event. Yeah.
Yeah. But something wasn't good enough for him. And it's weird to see James Cameron, a man who made his career off of going from one huge blockbuster to the next, stop in his tracks and be like, and now I'm only doing Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait, what?
For a decade and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always, his cadence as a filmmaker has always been slow, but like a decade and a half is a long ass time.
Right. And it is so weird because it's his weakest film. And it's
it really is. It really is.
Yeah. And so it's so fucking, it's like if Scorsese stopped at like The Color of Money and was like, now I'm making 5 more of these. And it's like, what? Okay. Like Color of Money is a good film, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it feels so arbitrary and weird for him to obsess over this one thing when it's like, dude, just move on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make something else that's good. You make so many good things, but it's just this. And I don't know what happened. Is he haunted by this film in some way?
I don't know. I feel like you said, it's going to be end up being like a staring contest or like a game of chicken between James Cameron and the studio, because I feel like it just kept taking longer and longer and just kept getting pushed back and back,
right? And
to the point where the entire landscape of movies has changed. You know, it's all dominated by like 2 studios and Marvel movies.
He's sort of stuck in like 2007 with this shit where it's like, now every movie is Avatar. Like, it's not really.
Now multiple films break $1 billion a year.
Yeah, and they're all CGI.
Yeah, and
spectacles,
most
like
of them
Avatar
are dog
was.
shit.
Yeah. So Avatar doesn't feel special in the landscape, in the current landscape,
not at all. Yeah, at all.
And it's like I want like a documentary about this. I want to know what happened, because it feels like something happened to James Cameron after Avatar that like put him on tilt, that where he went on this weird like spiral where now he's obsessed with doing Avatar.
I wonder if it was him losing Best Director to his ex-wife.
Oh shit. That honestly,
like he was nominated for Avatar, and that's when
yeah. I think it's a Lucas effect, which is funny because the Lucas effect is caused by Titanic. Because I always think about how Lucas made Star Wars, and then he tried to make Willow and all this other stuff, and it all failed.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did the re-release of Star Wars. And the re-release of Star Wars, if you remember, got blown out of the box office by Titanic. And then that's where the famous clips from behind the scenes of him going, we're never going to beat Titanic, nothing did, when he's making the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really feels like Lucas had this, like, he went on tilt from Titanic. Like, it feels like Titanic made him go like, fuck it, I'm making more Star Wars, god damn it, and like started to obsess over that idea, where like before that he was trying to make other things, you know?
Mm-hmm. And
so I wonder if James Cameron has a similar thing where it's like, this is like his Star Wars, where it's like now it's all he does. And
I think like Lucas had decided to do the prequels before the re-release of Star Wars. That was sort of like to grease us up for the prequels.
Oh, okay.
The prequels went into production, I think, 96.
That checks out.
And obviously the re-releases of Star Wars were in 97.
But he definitely had a moment in his career where he was trying to do other things.
Yes, yeah. So,
and it didn't work out.
Yeah, if anything, I don't know. I think point still stands.
Like it feels like James Cameron had just a longer period where he successfully did things, and then he's just stuck at Avatar. There's just something about it. It seems like
that is
like, God,
you know what?
Fucking damn it!
I'm remembering the he is always every interview. Well, not every interview, but he's given a lot of interviews about Terminator, the original one that he made for Orion, and then they'll invariably he and the president of Orion at the time had a very acrimonious relationship, and like in subsequent interviews, the Orion president has said like James Cameron keeps beating the drum of like, nobody at Orion believed in me, and now look at him. And like he keeps like talking shit about that. And like the Orion president was like, I don't know what else he wants from me. Like, I don't know what he wants me to admit. It's like, yeah, I was wrong. Obviously, it happens. Like he made a great movie that everybody reveres as a classic. He's had an incredible career. I don't know what the fuck else he wants from me. Like why he keeps bringing this up. It's like it seems like he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a while it was pure ego, right?
Yes,
where there was this moment
100%.
where they would
Famous
Star
ego.
Wars.
Yeah.
Well, all around, right? It was like Star Wars, biggest movie, and then it would be like Titanic, biggest movie, and or like Jurassic Park, biggest movie, or it started with Jaws, I guess. It was like Jaws and Star Wars, where they would like make those little art like congratulations messages. And so there was this constant idea of like these single guys who could take responsibility, even though obviously it was more than this them, for making the biggest movie. And they were allowed to the studios to have all the power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that used to be how it was. And they grew a lot of egos where like, yeah, I think for a while Lucas and Spielberg and Cameron were all fantasizing about beating the other one, you know? And like, we're going to do it. And while that was happening, quietly, this new thing happened, which was just Blockbuster suddenly became these, you know, the Marvel system.
It's a commodity.
It's like,
not a commodity. It's a...
But it's like, suddenly it's not one person. It's
right.
a studio.
Committee.
Yeah. A committee. So they have these egos. And I think I almost feel like James Cameron, like I feel like Spielberg moved on. He's just like, yeah, all right, that era is over. I'm going to make other things.
Yep.
Lucas moved on in a much darker way, but we moved on nonetheless.
He moved on in a way that I identify more closely with.
Yeah, yes. Where he's like, here, have it all, give me millions of dollars. I'm going to go to my mansion and sulk.
Right. He moved on in a way, not in that aspect, but in a way that is sort of like self-defeat and partial self-destruction.
Yeah. God, that picture of him with Mickey Mouse, it's the funniest fucking thing. And so, like, these big people, they were blockbusters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They were on top. They were king of the world, as James Cameron put it.
God, yeah.
So perfectly. And now I think Avatar was right at the end. And I think it was like, right? Like it was 2009 and then superhero. Yeah. And then what happened right after that? Superheroes. And like even before that, like Peter Jackson came in. I think Peter Jackson was seen as like, oh, we got another one. Like he's supposed to be another like James Cameron,
and
another
then he made
Spielberg.
King Kong.
Yeah. And so it felt like things were going well. And then slowly sneaking up were comic book movies. And now it became, a thing where it's like there's no...
We've shifted back from auteurs to the studio.
Right, and the studio just ate them. And so they don't have that competition anymore. So I think there's a frustration there with James Cameron. I'm completely guessing, obviously. But like he's like blue-balled by Avatar.
Ironically.
Big Na'vi blue balls.
Yep.
Where
a lot of blue nuts were sprayed in Avatar.
It's almost like because the thing is, Avatar was the biggest film, right? It won.
Yeah.
James Cameron won. And so imagine if you won this race and then suddenly like a big robot came in and won instead of you. That's what it feels like, right? Like he's like, I did it. I beat out, like, fuck you, George Lucas. Fuck you, Spielberg. And then Marvel, this entity, is just like, no. We're actually making the biggest things in the world now.
And they kind of did it a little shittily too, where they like re-released Endgame and like on I believe demanded theaters to open it back up on a certain number of screens because Disney can do that shit.
Yeah, you could argue they're not. Yeah, it's corporate and it's not by its own merit. And so James Cameron got that victory. He got the highest grossing over the other two guys. And it was short-lived, and then everybody forgot about it because we just got swamped with avatars, basically. Just big CGI spectacles. So maybe that really fucked him up.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
We've been sitting here playing therapist for James Cameron for the past 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it does make sense, right? It's like you work towards something and then you finally get it, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, too bad, man. We're doing superheroes now. We don't care about your accomplishment. We don't care about Avatar.
So
And
now
it's like, fuck, man.
What they need to let him do is put out that Spider-Man movie he wrote.
Yes.
Holy God.
Yeah.
If any of you listening have not read James Cameron's screenplay for Spider-Man that he wrote back in the 90s, I think, go find it. It's you can find it. It is
you
something
sure can.
else.
Oh man, James, Jimmy
C. See, it works
Yeah.
because he is his last name begins with a C, and he is from the sea.
Ooh, he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can move on if you want to.
I would love to. Let's do it.
All right, more people to thank.
Let's name some more of our Patreon producers. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Andrew, the Proud Satanist How.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Space McNulty.
Always
Yeehaw.
McNulty in space. All right, let me take over here. Thank you to your mom.
Thank you.
Thank you to Nolan Mayton.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew. Follow Marina on Twitch and Patreon at Heartfist Brain McGuire.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you to AJ.
Thanks.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Tip Drizzle.
Thank you to Burrito Mouth.
Yeah.
Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Yeah.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Yes.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick chill.
Yeah, num 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 num.
Thank you to
Num,
Funky
num, num.
J.
Thank you.
And thank you to Pie Guy.
Pie Guy. Thank
All
you.
right, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dave,
Yes.
you Prince of New England.
Yes.
Do you have a film that perhaps could use a little bit more hype?
I think I do.
What
I
fun!
think I do. I think I do.
Okay.
I have one for next week that I'm very excited for too, but that's not today.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about today, man.
There's my point is I found like a bunch that
Oh,
was
your
like
cup
sorting
runneth
through.
over. I see. Okay.
Yeah. This one is called Medusa. I chose this because it's coming out soon. It's coming out July 29th in select theaters. It is the film threat review says it's Suspiria confined with Jesus camp. So it's like, oh, okay.
Well, sure.
It's very Dario Argento.
Yeah.
You can see from the trailer. It's got like goblin-esque rock scores. It even has a bit from Suspiria in it, which is like, oh, do you remember? Like the bit in Suspiria is women with S names are evil. They do that here with
specifically.
they're snakes. Yeah, they do that here with M names. It's a Brazilian director. It's about a fundamentalist Christian community in Brazil, and they're like a weird cult, right? Where like they wear white doll masks and go around and beat up women in the streets. It's all women. They beat up other women in the streets for sinful acts. Mm-hmm. Which is
there's some real Court of Owls looking motherfuckers with these masks.
They make them do like a pledge to Jesus. Then they post it on social media, and it's all around like a former leader, I believe, of a young woman who did a nude scene in a movie and got like her face burnt for doing it, and they're trying to find her again, and they find her. They like. I'm looking at the synopsis. I believe
none of
they
this
go
is
and
in the
work.
trailer. The trailer's just a lot of like freaky deaky.
They work. Yeah, they go and work at like a clinic, and they find someone in like a coma with a mask in the basement, and that's as much as I know. And yeah, the trailer is, as you said, freaky deaky. It's mostly the appeal is mostly in this fucking trailer, right?
Yeah.
It's people in like Eyes Wide Shut masks.
Yeah, and a lot of real surreal stuff. Like if you've seen, like we've said Dario Argento, and it's like very clearly, yeah, that's who the filmmaker is emulating. And it just looks, the colors, the way it's shot, the music, the sort of surreal vibe of it. It looks, I don't know how much sense it's going to make as a narrative, but I'm super excited to watch it.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll make more sense than the trailer presents.
I'm sure,
it's that like neon noirish, like weird look where like there's clearly like this fundamentalist Christian group and they have like a weird symbol you can see in the trailer, and they're portrayed through certain colors. And like I think it's like it's treating it like a cult, right? And I assume it's going to be there'll be a character who like realizes that it's wrong, or I don't fucking know. I have no idea. It looks wild.
Yeah.
But it looks, quite good. And I think it's a horror movie, right? This giving me that horror vibes.
They say it's the write-up that you have linked here calls it genre bending. But it definitely does have lots and lots of horror vibes.
Yeah. So
and I think it's a new filmmaker, right? Or relatively new.
I believe so, yeah. And so,
or did I just pull that out of my ass?
I don't know. I'm sure they made like shorts and stuff like that. I don't know. It should be noted that it looks Dario Argento, but it doesn't. It still is its own thing.
It's its own thing. It's just very clearly, like we just got
clearly
through talking about
inspired,
how
heavily inspired.
Yeah.
The director has made one other movie before it called Kill Me Please, and then a bunch of shorts.
Okay.
So she's been around a little bit. And so I don't know. And looking at Kill Me Please, it doesn't look like it's the same style, which is kind of cool because that means the director is like purposefully being like, I'm making a Dario Argento style film for this one. So that's kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Medusa. Good name.
Yeah. Check out the trailer if you'll know pretty quickly whether or not you're going to be into it.
Yeah, for sure. I am wondering what the significance of Medusa is, because Medusa, she's not bad, right? Like she literally just went into a cave and is like, everybody leave me alone. And then like people just kept.
I think she's kind of bad, but like.
Well, people just keep busting into her cave.
I think it's the title is the idea of sort of terrible beauty.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just haven't seen the movie yet, basing this entirely on the trailer. So check out the trailer.
Yes,
do it.
I'm just on Medusa's side. Is my point.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Medusa was
obvious.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, yeah, like.
If you turn people
Perseus?
to stone. Yeah,
he goes into her cave. Like you came to her house. She's not bothering anybody.
Exactly. In fact, like if your stare turned people into stone, the most responsible thing to do is go live in a cave. Like just go live away from people.
Yeah.
And then it's not your fault if assholes are like, "Aha, I'm coming in to go kill you." And it's like, "Fuck you, man."
She turns men to stone. What were they doing?
Breaking into her house. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Seems like that's her right as a citizen. Seems like she did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But check this out. Check this film out.
I don't have anything else to say. I think we've done it, Dave.
I think we did it too.
I think we did a sode.
Listen, folks, thanks so much for listening.
Yeah.
You had fun. We had fun.
Uh-huh.
We all had. It was fun.
It was great. We had a great time together, and now it must end for now.
Yeah, for now.
Why don't you tell them some stuff they can do in the meantime, Dave?
Yeah, they can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. For $10 a month, you can watch movies with us every Friday night.
Yeah,
that's tonight. Who can say what we're going to watch?
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, technically, I have the ability to pick.
Oh, right. You're going to be a birthday monster this week, huh?
Yeah. So I can pick whatever I want.
It is your divine right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, check that shit out.
Yeah.
And then we have all sorts of other tiers on there that you can check out as well. And that's it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? All right. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. Jesus Christ. Where you can find all sorts of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts and mugs and stickers and posters and all sorts of things. So, take a look. Check it out.
Yeah. Absolutely check it out.
Yeah. You goofs.
And you fucking goofs.
You goddamn goofs.
Yeah. Fuck you.
With your spinning bow ties and your exploding cigars.
That's you.
That's you.
That's what you look like. We just pegged you.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
You were just eviscerated by my wit. Let's be done.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com.
Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. You can find more of his artwork at instagram.com/mvbramleyart. Our episode artwork is produced by Justin Brown.
You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.